Thank you to Thomas Morira for these 5 suggestions. Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and welcome back to another preview and prediction video. Today I'll be continuing with the American Athletic Conference and going to Navy. Navy last season went 4-8, 3-5 in the American, missing a bowl game for the second year in a row, I believe. Most of their losses are between one possession. Those losses would be against Houston, against SMU, against Cincinnati, and against East Carolina. The rest were blowouts, I'm not going to lie to you. So, what do my notes say about Navy? Well, this is Ken Niumatalolo's 15th season at Navy. They run the triple option just like every other service academy school. Out of the big three of Army, Navy, and Air Force, they're probably the worst out of them over the last couple of years. However, just like every other service academy school, they should be very disciplined. They also play in a competitive conference that they play each team, a lot of the teams every year. So those teams have to game plan for that every year. So they are accustomed to defending the triple option to an extent. So, how are they looking on their roster? Well, they get their quarterback back, and Ty Lavatai. He'll be a junior this upcoming year. Their backfield, they're returning they're returning a junior and 2 sophomores in the backfield, so that's good for them. Wide receivers, they don't use much, but when they do, they have seniors and juniors there in the starting roles. Offensive line, besides center, juniors and seniors. So the offense should be serviceable. Defensively, you have a lot of juniors and seniors. You have 3 sophomores, but the rest are juniors and seniors. So, they're not, in experience, they're not lacking. How are they going to do, though? That's the question. So, let's go ahead and check that out. Week 1, they play Delaware in Annapolis for their first home game. This should be an easy warm-up game. Delaware, nowhere near the talent that you are, nowhere near the discipline that you are. So you should get a win there before you stay home, before Memphis comes to town to start conference play. Memphis, ever since they lost their head coach a couple of years ago when he went to Florida State, they have regressed every year since then. Now, how's that going to affect them this year? They should still be a very competitive team. Now, speaking of that, I think that they beat you here. Memphis, while having regressed the last couple of years, they still are a very good group of 5 team. And I think that that's, even though you're at home, I think that's going to come into play. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Memphis will get the win. You're 1-1 before your bye week. Then you have a really hard stretch of games with every one of these teams up until every one of these next 5 games you could lose. You have at East Carolina, at Air Force, Tulsa, at SMU, and Houston. And I just don't know. There's a lot of question marks. You do have a lot of experience on your team. However, with the regression that you've had the last couple of years, I don't know if you're going to be able to turn it around against all of these teams that are bunched in the middle of your schedule. So let's go one by one. At East Carolina. East Carolina, they're a team that is going to be wanting to win every game on the schedule, just like any team, of course. But they are a team to where they seem like they have a very good home advantage when it comes to the crowd and everything like that. They play NC State week 1, and they're going to be wanting to beat NC State. If they beat NC State, they're going to be riding high into this week. If not, they're going to be in wounded animal mode. They're going to have some corrections made to their team. Either way, it's going to be a very difficult game in Greenville, North Carolina. I think you lose another close one. Then you have to go all the way across the country to play a team you play every year, and Air Force in Colorado Springs. Air Force, I think they're just better than you. I think you lose there as well. You lose both your back-to-back road games. Then you come back home to play Tulsa. And, what do I want to do here? Tulsa, you have at home. I'm going to give you the win here. Because it's at home, because it's going to be a very physical game, I think you have a chance to out-physical Tulsa and get the win here to get you another win to where now you're 2-3 before you go back on the road to face SMU. I made an audible here. I originally had you losing to Tulsa, but it's very unlikely that a team that's as disciplined as Navy, Army, or Air Force is going to go on a losing streak of more than 4, in my opinion. So, you go on the road to SMU. The week after you get your win against Tulsa, SMU is going to be very hard to stop, and I don't think you're going to have the horses to keep up with them. So I think you lose there as well, drop to 2-4. Then you have Houston. Houston's going to be another very physical team. I think they're more physical than Tulsa. So I think you lose there as well. Houston's going to be one of the best Group of 5 teams this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they're ranked by this point in the season. Maybe. So you're 2-5. Then you play Temple. Temple, one of the more mediocre American teams. I think you'll get the win pretty easily. They have DeJuan Mathis, who's a former UGA quarterback who transferred there after losing the starting job to Stetson Bennett. So now you're 3-5. Then you go on the road to Cincinnati, one of your biggest games of the year. Cincinnati, you could say that they're kind of the Group of 5 champion last year. And I think you go into Cincinnati and get a win. I think Cincinnati's going to take a step or two back this year and have a little bit of regression, but I think that's how it goes. So you're 4-5 before you face Notre Dame. Notre Dame, this is not 2016. I don't think you're going to get the win here. Notre Dame's just too talented. So now you're 4-6. Then you go on the road to UCF. UCF is going to be a good team this year with Gus Malzahn. I just think that with how the triple option offense works and Gus Malzahn not being as accustomed to it with him coaching in the SEC, and this is being his second season coaching at UCF, I think that you catch him off guard and you get a win in the bounce house in Orlando. So you're 5-6 before you play the annual Army-Navy game, one of the best traditions in college football. You beat them last year. I think that Army is going to be circling this game on the schedule, wanting a victory. I think it's going to be a close game. It always is. I think Army does get the win in the end, and you lose out on bowl eligibility by 1 game. So there you have it. Navy, I think, goes 5-7 on the year for 2022. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and Go Dogs.